All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Village of Royal Palm Beach Special Magistrate Hearing for Wednesday, November 8th, 2023. According to Verizon, it's 5:35, so we can get started. My name's Doug McGibbon. I'm the Special Magistrate. Um, Most of our hearings today are either going to be fine assessment or violation hearings. When you hear your name being called, you're going to go up to that podium over there. You will tell us who you are. The village will present their case. You can question their witnesses. You can present your case, and I get to make a decision. That flips when we get to the fine mitigation requests. We have 3 of them, I believe, this evening. Those people have been through a violation and a fine assessment hearing. They are asking for relief from the order, so they get to go first, and the village gets to respond. I think I've hit the highlights, except now I get to swear everyone in. So, will everyone please raise your right hand? Say I do after we're done. Does everyone swear or affirm the testimony they're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Everyone does. Except for the gentleman in the back. We'll swear him back in later. All right, that being said, please proceed, Village of Royal Palm.
Thank you, Special Magistrate Amity Barnard, Village Attorney. We're starting on the agenda on page 1. Fine Assessment Hearings, Case 23-0507, 103 Oxford Court, Robert and Carol Y. Espada.
Here, come on down.
I'm Linda Walker, Code Inspector for the Village of Royal Palm Beach, and I'm presenting on behalf of Dina Foley. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, permit information.
Okay, we have an affidavit of service, so you have service. What is this lovely permit for? I have no idea.
Water heater.
Water heater? Okay. Doesn't really
Should say on there.
yet. It really doesn't. It's okay.
Nancy Mills, I'm their daughter.
Okay, thank you. What is it? Nancy Mills. Depends, you can say it loud.
Nancy Mills, I'm their daughter.
These are the exhibits, that's fine. These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence. It's the affidavit of service of the previous order finding violation, the previous order finding violation, page 2 of that, and verification of ownership, exhibit 2. Exhibit 3 is the village's permit information. Any objection to these documents being entered?
No.
Thank you.
All right, admitted without objection. So we have a water permit or a water heater that didn't get inspected, I take it?
That's correct.
All right, so, hi.
Hi. My dad passed away. I have his death certificate, and
We
my
believe you.
my mom's at a assisted living facility, so there's no one living there, and we're trying to do our due diligence and sell the property, but I think we might have to lead it to foreclosure. But the people that pulled the permit, service experts, I've been in contact with them ever since I got your notification, maybe in August or September, and they keep saying that they're going to renewal. They said they submitted a renewal. They said that we have 3 for the AC, water heater, and ductwork. None of them, they said, are closed out. But I've been in contact with them since August, and they keep on saying they're going to do it, and they don't. So I don't know where to go from here.
Service experts also did the AC, because that's your next case.
Yes, and the ductwork, they said that that one hasn't been closed as well.
I'm going to write it down for
Okay.
you. What can I'll write on this.
Yes, okay.
You can contact these people, Florida Department. Business and Professional Regulation. You can file a complaint. I would suggest calling them and telling them that you're going to file your complaint with DPVR, and they'll probably renew very quickly.
Okay.
But then you'll want a copy of the permit. Someone will have to be on site for the inspection. If the work wasn't done, you could close the permit. And like I told you earlier, you can actually do a change of contractor, but that's going to be costly for you. So you probably don't want to do that.
All right, so she has to get her permit renewed to get her out of code enforcement, and you've given her some help in who to call to motivate the service company.
If we could, Special Magistrate, given the fact that she's come here with some information that she's doing her due diligence, if we could give her continuance till next month.
I would be thrilled to do that. Status / fine assessment for next month.
Instead of for January.
Oh, yeah.
So comply by the end of December and January hearing. So, right.
All right, when's the 12 meeting?
We'll actually do the January meeting,
Oh,
which would
January, okay, that's even
would
better.
be a compliance date of December 29. And then the January hearing is January 10th, 2024. And maintain the $25 a day fine.
All right, so when is the January meeting, the 10th? Or
10, January 10.
10, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the village has decided to bump this, so you have now until the end of the year to get your contractor switched or your contractor motivated enough to renew your permit. Once your permit is renewed, you will be out of code enforcement and back into the building department. So if these things have already been done, just get it renewed, then call for an inspection.
And I believe a title search came through on the house, so I don't know if you have an offer or whatever, but having the open permit will hold your closing up as well. So you really do need to get it finished out, and it'll still be reported as, you know, a code enforcement issue on the property.
Okay, wonderful.
All right.
Okay,
We have another case for the same thing.
so let's go do
did
that
it.
one. Which
Go ahead.
next
Special
case
Magistrate,
exactly?
if you wanna-
545?
If you want to rule on that one since they're separate
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah, I already did, but 1229, 110, 25 is granted for a status / fine assessment hearing.
Thank you. And then we'll call the second one is 23-0545, 103 Oxford Court, Robert and Carol Y. Espada.
Okay. And this, again, I'd like to enter in the order finding violation. Verification of ownership is Exhibit 2, and Exhibit 3 is permit information. Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
I will almost guarantee this looks exactly like the last one,
It is.
except for the difference in permit number.
Affidavit of service for the order finding violation, the previous order, page 2 of the order, and then the village's,
Even the same
verification of
dates.
ownership, and the village's permit information. Any objection to these documents? Thanks, ma'am.
Admitted without objection. I will have a status / fine assessment hearing on January 10th. The compliance date is 12/29. The fine is going to be $25 a day. Is that correct? Matches
Yes, thank you,
everything
sir.
else? Granted.
Thank you.
Great,
All
thank
right.
you.
Good luck with your contractor. They're
Thank you.
always fun.
Now we're moving to violation hearings all the way down to page 4. Center of the page, 23-0865, 114 Kingsway, Albert D. Mays.
Okay. We have another 2 individuals who've come into the room after we've started, so we may want to figure out who they are. Last row and the gentleman sitting next to the lady in the second to last.
Yeah, I'll get those at the end.
Yep.
Code section is 14-4A, 06-190A, 1, 3, and 5. The description is disabled vehicles, sidewalk, and driveway are staying. This violation was written by Ms. Foley on 8/23/23. It was sent certified mail on 8/24/23 and signed for on 8/29/23. Notice of hearing was sent out on 9/29/23, and it was signed for but not dated. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1 is your notice of violation. Exhibit 2 is notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4 is pictures, and Exhibit 5 is affidavit of compliance.
Okay, so we're just going to process this one, I take it.
Albert Mays.
Thank you, sir. These are the exhibits the village would like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the notice of violation with the signed certified mailing. Exhibit 2 is the
The ve-
notice of hearing.
The vehicle no longer there.
Yep, we'll get there. We just have to get through this process. Exhibit 3 is verification of ownership. Exhibit 4 is photographs. And Exhibit 5 is an affidavit of compliance showing, as you say, it's gone. Any objection to the documents being entered?
No.
All right, admitted without objection. So I take it he took care of it, but it was just a little late, so it's gonna be a finding of fact again. All right, you have service via signed green cards. All right, so I'm gonna enter what is known as a finding of fact, which means you fixed it, but you fixed it a little late, so for the next 5 years, you just need to make sure your driveway's clean and whatever problem with the car is resolved.
Yes, okay.
Okay,
It was my
so you'll
son,
get
it was
a,
my
uh,
son's vehicle, so he just moved it.
Yeah, that's fine, and you'll get an order in the mail that just says you're good, but just keep it that way.
All right.
All right, thank you very
Sure.
much, Mr. Mays.
All right, moving to page 5, third case down, 23-1015, 729 Hibiscus Drive, Avery St. James, Inc.
The code section is 2318B3B. Description is parking on the front lawn. This violation was written on 9/21/23, sent certified mail 9/23/23, and signed for.
Anyone here for 729 Hibiscus?
He was here.
Okay, he's still out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Mailed certified mail on 9/23/23, signed for on 9/25/23, and notice of hearing was mailed on 9/29/23. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. And Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
Okay. Your name for the record, sir.
Manuel Martinez,
You're going to spell that, please.
Manuel Martinez, Martinez.
Thank you, sir. And what's your relation to Avery James, Inc.?
I'm the managing partner of the, yes.
Thank you, sir. These are the exhibits the village would like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the notice of violation
Mhm.
with the
And
signed certified mailing.
Martinez.
Exhibit 2 is the notice of hearing with the signed certified mail. Exhibit 3 is verification of ownership. Oops, out of order. Exhibit 4 is a photograph of the violation, and Exhibit 5 is affidavit of compliance. Any objections to these documents being entered?
No.
Thank you, sir.
All right, admitted without objection. So they have a boat, they have a van. The van needs to be parked. And I think they have enough room in front of the boat to not have a problem. Signed green cards equal service, by the way. Okay, so I
This
heard you
one's-
talking in there at the back of the room forever. What's your speech now?
We didn't understand how the parking would be allowed, meaning the tenant was parked in front of the garage, and we didn't understand which way they had to park the vehicle so that it would be in compliance. And it wasn't until I talked to the code officer that as soon as we understood that they could park in the swale, that they started parking that way immediately. So
But it didn't happen until after the time passed, right?
it looks like we may have missed the deadline by a few days, and so again, I asked that the court consider that we took care of it as quickly as we did, and unfortunately we did miss that deadline, but
Okay, well, that's why we have something called a finding of fact, which means you did comply, but you complied late, so you're good right for now, but the next time this happens, there will not be a courtesy notice or a warning period. It'll just jump immediately into fines. So have your tenant park in an acceptable place. They could park in the driveway in front of the boat, and that would be fine. They could park in the swale in the direction of traffic, but they can't park up in the grass next to the front door. Okay,
understood.
finding of fact is granted.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next, page 6, third one from the bottom, 23-0892, 117 Meadowlark Drive, Beatrice E. Rodriguez.
Margaret Hancock, Code Enforcement Officer for the Village of Royal Palm Beach. Goodness, my paper's all falling apart. Code section is 622-108.4. Work done without required permits. I observed this violation on 8/31/23, Sent out notice of violation, certified mail on 9/1/23, posted that onto the property. Sent out notice of hearing, certified mail on 10/6/23. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, AS400 permit information. And Exhibit 6, affidavit of compliance.
A long story, but it got there.
A happy ending.
Beatrice Rodriguez.
Thank you. These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the affidavit of service for the notice of violation. The notice of violation and the certified mailing came back undeliverable.
Let me see that, please. I'm sorry. Because I received this and I saved it. But I never got anything to.
It's certified mail, they didn't.
Okay, so, okay.
So you
I
got a
received
regular
it
mail,
October
right.
6th.
That's
Yeah,
fine, you got it, and
Mhm.
that's fine. Exhibit 2 is the notice of hearing,
okay. Just this.
which you got.
Uh-huh.
Exhibit 3 is verification of ownership, just showing who owns the property. I'm sorry, right there. Exhibit 4, sorry. Exhibit 4 is photographs of the violation. Exhibit 5 is the village's permit information. And Exhibit 6 is the affidavit of compliance. Any objection to the documents being entered?
No.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Boy.
Sorry.
Sideways,
the next
down.
file
It's
will be
gonna take
better.
me
Sorry
5
about that,
minutes
sir.
to reorganize this, just to say you're getting a finding of fact, and you got permitted, right?
Yeah, she got all her permits that she needed.
What was that in the back? Was it a patio? Was it a room? I'm just sort of interested in the
Which-
architectural detail that was removed.
Which
Windows.
one? What are you referring to?
Keep going, that one right there.
It's the
This
front.
is the front
Oh, it's the
of
front.
the house.
Okay,
Yeah,
because there were those wonderful, whatever they are,
they look beautiful now.
yeah, they're just sort of architectural clutter stuff to make it look.
I
Architecty.
honestly.
So
yeah.
that was the front of the house, and you're just replacing some windows with some windows, or some sliding glass doors with some windows?
Side windows.
Just windows that open.
Windows for
forward.
windows.
Yeah, but it's just
Windows for
not the
windows, but
same
they're not
type
as
of window.
the
Not
same
as long.
size because they're obviously putting new. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
and they were
that
doing
was my only
electrical
curiosity.
work and plumbing work
it's-
as well.
It's still a finding of fact now that I've straightened it out. Now that you've got, so when you get this stuff done, make sure that they call for inspections. Okay, so you don't end up like the last lady who got like.
Yeah, no, we
she's
already-
got to renew it.
We just passed mechanical and electric.
Excellent, because
Yeah, so
a
we're
lot of these
just
people are like,
pending
"Oh
to-
yeah, we got it fixed and it's beautiful," and they're like, "Did you call for an inspection? Do we have an inspection?"
How
Please
long do
get
we
inspection.
have? How long do we
You have 6 months
Okay.
from the date the permits are issued to get it CO'd or inspected or finalized or whatever the terms they're going to use on it, and you can always extend it as well. So
They actually have 180 days from the date of their last past inspection.
oh, okay, so
Past inspection, extension permit another.
see, look, I learned something new. So you
Yeah,
just
we're
passed an
gonna-
inspection, so you get an extra 6 months. So your next one, you get an extra 6. You want to get it done, but just
So
make
I
sure.
have a question on the windows, because my doors that we also submitted are not going to be here for another, I don't know how many weeks, 6 weeks or whatever. So do we have to do multiple inspections now that the windows are taken care of, or?
You may want to do that just
Everything
to keep
together.
extending your time frame. If your windows
Okay.
get done, call them over for an inspection.
But
and
they
they'll-
need to contact the building department
Yeah,
to verify that.
But yeah, so hopefully you will be able to get everything done. But you're doing this. We're doing finding of fact on this
Yes,
one?
sir,
Yes.
finding of fact.
Finding of fact is granted.
Thank you.
And you're not going to repeat this one because you're not going to go build
No,
a new house
I'm sorry.
in your house.
I know. I separated, bought that house, and before you know it, I wanted to get in there, and I'm actually moving back with family the end of this month because I couldn't get the people to reply, our architects and engineers or whoever I needed. It was a mess to get a hold of them. But we finally got it. It took like 2 months. So
Yeah, well, congratulations.
thank
The
you.
work pays off. All right,
Thank you.
next please.
Next is the next one down, 23-0899, 216 Bella Vista Way, Elizabeth and Winston Morgan.
Code Section 622-105.5, permit 19/1861 has expired. This was brought to my attention on 9/1/23. Sent out notice of violation certified mail on 9/1/23. It was signed for on 9/5/23. Sent out notice of hearing certified mail on 9/21/23. It was delivered on 9/23/23. Like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, AS400 permit information. Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
You're on a roll.
Your name for the record?
They need to get this picture off of here because I keep
Winston
staring
Morgan.
at the stuff
What's your
there.
last name?
Morgan,
Morgan, thank
M-O-R-G-A-N.
Thank you. These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into the record. Exhibit 1 is the notice of violation, the signed certified mailing. Exhibit 2 is the notice of
A whole new
hearing,
back row.
tonight's hearing, the signed certified mailing. Exhibit 3 just shows that you own the property.
Oh, and a new guy over there.
Exhibit 4 is the village's permit information. And Exhibit 5 is affidavit of compliance. Any objection to these documents being entered?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Margaret is on quite the roll. She's a compliance queen. All right, signed green cards equals service. Finding of fact,
Yes, sir.
granted.
Thank you.
Good. Look at all this activity just in there for more extensions. All right, so you're going to get a finding of fact. You're good to go.
Just make sure you get your final inspection.
Oh, yeah, same thing that goes for you that goes for her. Make sure you get yourself final inspected so you can be done with them.
Thank you. Next is on page
No, we're
7.
not. Next, we're going to swear in the half the room that showed up late here so we can get past these people. See you, sir. All right, so most of my back row here is new, and the guy in the tealish shirt seems to be new, and the gentleman over there seems to be new. So all you new folks, we're going to swear you in. Raise your right hand. Say, I do, when we're done. Does everyone swear or affirm the testimony they're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Say, I do. All right, so we're good. Now we can go on with regular business. She's trying to figure out where everyone fits in the slots. They're trying to take care of people who've already signed in.
So page 7, third one down. 23-0941, 156 Bella Vista Way, Edwidge and Jean M. Fleury.
Code Section 622-105.5, permit 22/1986 has expired. This was brought to my attention on 9/1/23. Sent out notice of violation certified mail on 9/1/23. Posted it to the property. Sent out notice of hearing certified mail on 10/12/23. It was delivered on 10/14/23. Like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, AS400 permit information.
See, no affidavit of
Streak is over.
compliance. You just broke it.
Names for the record?
My name is Edwidge Fleury.
Jean Fleury.
Thank you. And were you sworn in at the beginning? Were you sworn at
Yes.
the beginning? Very good. Okay. These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into the record. Exhibit 1 is the affidavit of service for the notice of violation.
It's a
The notice of
22
violation
permit.
itself.
It's not
Exhibit
old.
2 is the notice
Last
of
guy was a
hearing,
19.
the certified mail which was signed. Exhibit 3 is verification of ownership, just showing that you own the property. Exhibit 4 is the village's permit information. Any objection to these documents being entered?
Yes, because
Just
they.
so
No, we're just doing the documents. Let's
No.
just get,
No,
the
no,
story
no,
comes in a minute.
Okay.
All right. We're worried about the story in a minute, right? We're just getting some documents in. We have affidavit of service and we have signed green cards, so we have service. Overpayment. Overpayment check mailed. What was the permit for? I never get on this one. Do we know?
It's on violation.
Hmm.
Sherry, let me see.
Yeah, it picks up at the, oh, we're renewing it. Oh, you overpaid.
Window change out.
Windows, there we go. Okay. I just like knowing what it's for. It's just curiosity. All right, so they have a window permit that was extended at some point, there was an overpayment and a refund check, and what are we doing now?
You need to renew the permit.
Well, the refund's coming back, huh?
Believe they already received that,
No,
so that doesn't have nothing to do with this.
I know, it's just they're gonna have to end up paying back the money to get another extension.
Mhm.
So, it's all good. Okay. So the permit that they extended before is now needing to be
Expired again.
extended again.
Mhm.
When is the inspection? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
I don't know if there is an inspection, there's no permit to inspect right now because it's lapsed.
Yeah, you have to renew the
You have to
permit.
renew the permit, then get the inspection done. Are the windows already in?
The problem is I hired Home Depot to complete as a contract. I have the contract here. Home Depot is supposed to complete the job, which I have 27 windows in my house, and they only did 22 windows, and they're expected to inspect 22 windows. So the argument between them and I was like the contract stated 27 windows. I'm waiting for the 27 windows to be completed in order for the inspection to happen. So I'm not sure when they planning to honor their contract. So I think they want to do partial of the inspection, which the contract didn't say partial, it say complete. Upon completion, they get their full payment. Upon completion, we get a full inspection. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they're
Exactly.
probably trying just to extend the permit by getting a partial inspection, but I don't know. I don't know that they can do that.
Because how does the inspector remember, I mean, it's not like you're the only windows that he does, how does he remember which of the 22 he inspected?
Well,
Right, but I believe that's one of the reasons that I'm here is because they claim that the inspection is not done, but the inspection is not done not because of me. I'm not holding the inspection from being completed. It's the contractor who's holding the job to be completed.
yeah, unfortunately though, you're the owner of the house and you get the ultimate responsibility for these things. So, right now you have a problem with Home Depot, but the village really isn't involved in that part of
They
it.
need to renew their permit. So they're gonna have to renew their permit to get any inspections anyways. And when they renew the permit, it'll be for 180 days. They could have come in and renewed, up to the day before it expired at no fee. So now that it's already expired, it will cost them a fee, but they renew the permit one time for no charge. If they come in, like, you come in right before it expires.
But
Right.
that doesn't matter because they didn't do it.
They didn't do it, so
So
now
they
they're
have to get it, so you need to get them to renew the permit and then resolve your 5 windows that they missed.
Yeah, that's the issue. It's like, how do I go about doing that the legal way?
Maybe hire a lawyer, or at least do some certified letters to Home Depot and their contractors telling them, you have a code enforcement issue and you're gonna hold them responsible for it. Yeah, that's normally an attorney-ish thing.
contact Margaret Marsh can actually give you the name of the individual contractor. You know, Home Depot's just
Right,
the big man and he hires all these other subcontractors.
right.
Well, those contractors will license it.
Okay. I have,
I'll write it down for you back here, where you can file a complaint, which is let them know that you're gonna file a complaint. They renew their permit.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's like turning an attorney into the Florida bar. No attorney wants to see that happen. They will bend over backwards to get it taken care of.
Okay.
You're doing the same thing with the Department of Professional Regulation, I believe. Is that a DPR thing? So you're doing the same thing with the Department of Professional Regulation, which licenses contractors. I think they do hairdressers and a whole bunch of
They
other
do lots
different
of people, yep.
entities and peoples.
Okay.
Okay? So you're gonna say, look, you need to renew this permit, or I'm filing a DPR complaint. I have the phone number right here. It's this.
Okay.
And obviously, they're gonna go, oh, don't do that.
Right.
All right, what dates are we giving them, please?
Compliance by December 28th or the January 10th fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
So, I'm trying to understand. So, are you
So
saying
you
that?
just need to get them to renew the permit before the end of December, and you'll
Okay.
be fine. So you've
Okay.
got almost month and 3/4 to do that. Stuff does get lost over the holidays, so you need to stay on them
Okay.
and be somewhat threatening.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, tell them I'm mad, this should have been taken care of, you could have gotten a free extension if you were following your things, but you didn't, so get it extended, or we're filing complaints.
Right, but they trying to put it all on me now because they failed
The
to do
village
their
has to
part.
put it on you because you're the owner of the property and you're ultimately responsible.
Right.
You're gonna take care of your business by telling these people that they're gonna fix this or they're gonna get reported.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So then everyone goes, 12, 28, 110, 25 granted.
Thank you.
Okay, next, please.
Going back to page 2,
Okay,
it's a fine assessment hearing, third one from the bottom. It's 23-0686, 1222 Stardust Way, Fausto J. Figueroa.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. The previous order finding violation affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures. Exhibit 4, AS400 permit information.
Last name?
thank you.
J.C. Everett,
Spell your first name?
J-E-I-S-Y, Everett.
She'll get it, too.
All right, these are the exhibits the village would like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the affidavit of service for the order finding violation, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2 is verification of ownership. Exhibit 3 is photographs of the violation, which are also on the screen. And Exhibit 4 is the village's permit information. Any objection to just the documents being entered into the record?
Objeción por lo que se está mostrando.
Any objection? No.
All right, admitted without objection. Let me just check service and look at a picture. Thank you, ma'am. All right, we have an affidavit of service. So you have service. Okay.
This
Now,
one
where are
is
the pavers? Pavers are in this
Pavers
picture.
are there in the backyard. You can kind of see them through the fence area.
Yeah. Okay.
They're still there. And then the parking here, they're parking on the front lawn, and in this picture, you can see the car in the back lawn.
In the backyard, I see tires. It's a sedan of some kind.
Yeah. And they have an RV on the other side of the house, so you can only park on one side of the house, plus it's in the backyard, and then on the front yard, so.
Okay, so we have multiple violations. We've got a car in the backyard that's not supposed to be in the backyard.
Que tenés ese carro ahí que no debe de estar ahí.
We've got a car in the front that's not supposed to be parked in the grass. And there's a pile of pavers out there with no permit to deal with it. Correct?
this is a fine assessment hearing. They were here at the previous violation hearing as well, where all the violations were explained.
Yep, just saying. So now we're at the point of they haven't been moved. There hasn't been a permit issued. What do I do?
He said that he already submit the permit for the paver and for the driveway in the front.
Okay. Until the permit is approved,
It is not approved yet.
I know, until the it's approved, it's a problem.
That's right.
So there's nothing showing in the system as of yesterday.
That's, I just accepting the fact that it may or may not be applied for. The question is, when is it issued? You know, he needs to get the cars out. He needs to get the car out of the backyard.
This Saturday, they're gonna move the car. They're gonna take
Okay,
out the
well,
car.
that's good because they can stop that part of it, but the
Mhm.
pavers,
Needs a permit.
well, he either needs to move the pavers away or get a permit for them.
And the car that is in the lawn, he said there was a visit that come and park over there.
Well, don't let people park in your yard. Why are they driving on the grass?
Que no haya gente que se estacione en tu grama.
Not a very good friend.
You can park in the grass area. You can park in the grass area between the sidewalk and the roadway
Que no puede
with the flow of traffic.
en el grass area, desde aquí para acá. Pues porque en el lado, sí, como te dijeron la vez pasada.
Mhm. And now, are the pavers just in a pallet or something?
No,
Or
they're
they're on the
all in
ground.
the backyard.
Yeah.
Great big patio.
Yeah. So I have to fine him until he gets his permit. So if he's get a permit application in, he needs to get it processed and he needs to get it issued.
He said that he submitted this week, and probably next week is gonna be approved.
Well,
They told that.
we hope, but I don't see anything here getting approved in a week. It's usually 2 to 3 normally. I don't see anything in the system that says the application has been done. Did he get a surveyor to put down the location and the size of the pavers? Because you need a survey.
He need a survey for what you said?
He needs a survey to show the size and the location of the pavers. Tell him that.
Que necesitas un survey que tenga señalizado el paper que acabas de poner. Entonces, tenés que solicitar un nuevo survey, pero tenés que pedir permiso también para ese caso.
Okay, there's this thing called impervious surface. So tell him that.
Okay. Hay una cosa que dice que es llamado paper survey. Que tenés que ponerlo, me imagino que es como
You can only put up a certain amount of pavement or paving on a property that stops the rain. Tell him that.
Can you repeat it again?
You can only put up a certain amount of pavers or concrete that stops the rain from going through. Tell him that. And the survey will tell how much of the lawn or how much of the lot is covered. It should not be a problem. Okay?
El survey te va a decir cuánto tienes que cubrir de la medida.
Okay? Just getting the information that he needs. He's going to have to get the survey. If he doesn't have a survey with his application, it's going nowhere. All right.
¿A nuevo o el viejo? He already submitted survey, he said,
Okay,
but
I'm just telling you what needs to be done, and if it's not done, nothing will be issued. Okay? So right now, we're talking about a fine started 325?
325 started on your previous order required compliance. I'm sorry, your previous order required compliance by 1026, so 325 for 13 days, from 1027 to today. That's 325 and continuing.
All right, he's being fined $25 a day. Until the permit is issued.
In the back lawn.
Okay?
As well as they have to resolve the parking issue.
Well, the car was allegedly a visitor. The car is coming out of the backyard on Sábado, which is Saturday. 'Cause
But
Domingo
they need that to
Sunday.
be inspected by the
Now,
code officer.
that's my next thing.
Right.
when the car is moved
Mm-hmm.
from the backyard, you need to call and let the inspector or let the code officer inspect it to show it's gone.
Cuando lo muevan este carro de atrás, el de Axel, tenés que llamar para que le vengan a revisar que sí lo moviste.
Okay?
He said that how it worked, that he's gonna pay 525.
He doesn't have to pay it now. It's just going to keep going until he gets the permit issued.
Okay, but at the end he have to pay it.
Maybe, maybe not. That's a conversation for a different day.
Pagarlo, pero te está corriendo como que por cada día tienes que pagar esa cantidad. Sí, hasta que el día que salga, probablemente te toque pagar.
Okay? If the permit gets issued, it's probably only a couple $100 more in fines.
Si no, que solo es uno.
I think they were in the office applying for it today.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just trying to make sure that we get through this nicely and progressively. That's how they're good. So they recognize that you were there today. Hopefully this will get approved in a week or two. The fine will stop, and then we can deal with. You can talk to them about it when it's stopped. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. 325 plus continuing is granted. Took
Thank
a little
you.
while, but I just want to make sure everyone knows. Got it.
All right, now we're
Gracias.
going to page 3, violation hearings, 23-0741, 869 Hibiscus Drive, Starker Holding LLC.
Code section is 622-108.4, work done without a permit, doors and windows, drywall, concrete block work. This violation was observed by Ms. Foley on 7/19/23. It was sent certified mail on 7/21/23. It was returned unclaimed and then posted. Actually, it wasn't returned anything, it was just posted. Notice of hearing was mailed on 9/21/23, and then it was signed for on 9/23/23. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation and affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures.
Okay. We also have a new gentleman on the back.
Victor Gomez, please.
Thank you, sir. These are the exhibits that the village will enter into evidence. I guess, what's your relationship to Starker Holding LLC?
I'm a manager there.
Manager.
Yep.
Okay. These are the exhibits the village would like to enter into the record. Exhibit 1 is the affidavit of service for the notice of violation.
Mhm.
The notice of violation itself.
Mhm.
Exhibit 2 is notice of hearing,
Mhm.
as well as the signed green card. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership showing
Mhm.
who owns the property. Exhibit 4 is photographs of the violation. Violations. Any objection to these documents being entered?
No.
All right. Admitted without objection. I take it you have service via posting on this? Because I see an affidavit of posting at the top. Okay, we also have a signed green card, so we got lots of service.
I'm sorry, can we get the name again?
Yes, Victor Gomez, please. Yes,
It's managing or a member,
manager. Yep.
managing member, LLCs. All right, it's going to be beautiful when it's done, but you need permits.
Yes, we already applied. We have to hire the architect and the engineer to submit the permits. We submitted probably 2 months ago. They were reviewing. They were not approved because they want to submit separate permits for everything, which we already did. 2 weeks ago, we submit the electrical permit. 1 week ago, we submit the mechanical permit, and we resubmit the general master permit for everything.
Okay. What time are you going to,
And this one, we're asking for compliance by November 30th or the December 13th fine hearing, or $25 a day fine.
So, I was actually out there the day that
Yes.
this was seen. I just want to make sure that your permit covers where you guys actually relocated the front door.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that you're not just doing a door change out because you guys knocked through the block and put in a whole
Yep.
new door and,
Yeah, yeah.
all right. I
Yeah,
wanna
it's
make
for
sure it covers
windows.
that.
Yeah, windows, doors, and
Right, but you can't just pull a door permit. You
Yes.
have to show that you actually created a new opening, that you've reinforced that and put a header
Yes.
in there and all of that. You're gonna have to have an engineer's letter
That's
that
what
states that he went
Mhm.
out and inspected it and it's done and it's safe.
Exactly. That's why it took us more time to do the engineer plans, the
Okay.
the
I
architect.
just wanna make
Yeah.
sure because we're gonna look at that for compliance.
Sure.
And if you just get a door change
No,
out permit,
no, no.
it's not gonna comply your case.
Oh no. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, they've only got 3 or 4 inspectors driving around the village in trucks every day, including at least one day on the weekends.
No, you
So-
only have 2 code enforcement
Oh.
inspectors for the village of Roll Call.
We're down to 2?
Out in the area. Yeah, Dina and Margaret,
Okay.
and then I do
So
commercial.
they tend to notice things like pallets of stuff and all this activity, and
Sure.
you probably should know that you should have pulled permits for this stuff.
Yeah.
This is substantial crap.
Yes.
This is not just, oh, I fixed the window or
No,
changed
no,
the
well-
pane of glass. So you got caught. Hopefully you'll get it fixed.
No, we
11/30,
are.
12/13/25 is granted.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm sorry that
Yeah, well, you're sorry you got caught.
Yeah.
That's the real major part here. The rest of it's like, hopefully you'll get it fixed by the 30th and you won't have a fine. So
By the 30th of.
November. Yep, that's what you get.
We
for
have to have
trying
the permit approved by November 30.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you,
11/30,
sir.
12/13/25 granted.
Thank you.
Next one is the next one down, 23-0784-769 Camellia Drive, Stephen L. Broadhead.
Okay,
Stephen
this
I, Stephen L.
Every letter but
is,
the right one that's on the paper. Sorry about that.
It's all
code
good.
section is 9-4, 1557, 15132, 6190D, 14-2, and 12-4C. Description: fence is in disrepair, grass and weeds exceed height allowed, planting areas are overgrown, miscellaneous items stored on the property, and garbage can and recycle bin in public view. Ms. Foley saw this violation on 8/5/23. It was sent certified mail on 8/10/23. It was signed for on 8/14/23. Notice of hearing was mailed out on 9/9/23. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures.
Stephen Broadhead.
These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into the record. Exhibit 1 is the notice of violation with the signed certified mailing. Exhibit 2 is the notice of hearing. Exhibit 3 is verification of ownership showing who owns the property. Exhibit 4 is photographs of the violation. Any objection to the documents being entered?
All right, admitted without objection. All right, signed green card equals service.
This one's still on, right?
All right,
And with all that error on my part on the name, it's supposed to be Stephen J. Broadhead. So,
Stephen
my
J.
apologies.
We'll fix it. All right, Ms. Broadhead, you have a number of issues that need to be repaired. So, have you started working on any of them?
Trying to get the rest of the oak tree. My oak tree overhangs the fence that's in disrepair. I'm trying to get the branches that go over into my neighbor's yard cut off instead of replacing the fence and then the branches fall on the fence. So I'm almost done with that to where I can rebuild the fence or replace it with new. It's about $600 for new fence material.
And you do know you need a permit for that, correct?
Yes.
So, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of little things to fix here.
Got to get the
My
trash
wife
cans
says-
and recycle bins into the backyard, and
My wife says there are yard people and not yard people, and you're not a yard people. But you're going to be a yard people, at least until you get this fixed, so you can get out of trouble with code enforcement, because a lot of these areas just need to be paid attention to.
I did get somebody to start cutting the grass.
And, yeah, they
Edging
need
the-
they
the
need to go
weeds
out
just-
there with the weed eater and trim around some of these palms and other things that are a mess. All right, what are you trying to give him for time?
Compliance by December 28th or the January 10th fine hearing or
Good,
25.
good. Yeah, I was kind of going for that too. All right, so you now have until the end of December to get all of this sorted out. Please try to do it a little early. When you get it done, there's one bold part of my order that says, upon completion or something like that, you need to call the code inspector for an inspection so they can give you a date and an affidavit of compliance to get you out of trouble. So get it fixed, put a little bit of screening up in front of your trash can, take care of your tree and fence issue. Once you get the permit, you have 180 days to fix your fence. 1228, 110, 25 granted.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
What's-
sir.
What's the date I have till?
December 28th.
Okay.
You should have plenty of time. It's not huge items. The biggest problem is just going to get the fence permit issued. Once you do that, it's going to be kind of easy.
Thank you.
I'm right in the middle of pressure cleaning my fence. It's my least favorite chore. All right, next, please.
We're going now to page 8, fine mitigation hearings. The first case is 23-0133, 125 Barcelona Drive, Land Trust Assistance LLC trustee.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, letter requesting fine mitigation. Exhibit 2, order assessing fine. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance.
All right, tell us who you are and why the fine should be reduced.
Yes. My name
Yes,
is
name.
Jose Gomez Arroyo.
Okay, and why should the fine be reduced, Mr.
I am
Arroyo?
trustee,
You're what?
the property.
Okay.
And the fine amount
s-
in this, do you have the fine amount in this one?
No.
It's $2,175.
Okay, and
Sir, the first time I was notified the violations. I tried to work very fast. My JC submit the application about the enclosed door and exchange windows, but I don't know what happened. Almost 6 months later, I received the permit for exchange windows and enclosed door 6 months later. So in 3 days, I complete the inspections, and I don't know what happened. 6 months, many change in the application. My
yeah,
JC
no, we're talking about vegetative removal?
No,
No, this is a different one?
they removed windows and enclosed one,
Oh, okay, we're down one.
so they had to get a engineer and all that. So that's
Okay.
probably what took so long.
Okay.
6 months later,
Well, 6 months later, probably because you had to keep filling out more information.
no, my JC had 20 years in experience and never see so many change in the applications. And so my JC need exchange the applications, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 times. And almost 6 months later, the city approved my permit, and in 3 days, I passed the inspection.
Yeah. Well, the problem is it took forever to get the permit issued because there were probably problems with it. I mean, normally it takes 2 or 3 weeks to do a permit and have it approved if all the application is complete and correct.
For I think so. I know I'm expert in that words, but the application my GC show me only a few words need exchange. 6 times need exchange a few words. Only for the words don't pass the permit. 6 months take.
Well, maybe you should have hired a contractor who knew how to use his words. I mean, is that their problem, that your contractor can't figure out how to get a permit through after 20 years' experience?
Yeah, I know.
Now, okay. What do you suggest? Why should why should the amount be reduced, and what should the amount be? Why should the amount be reduced?
Maybe I don't know, sir.
Well, you're asking for a reduction
Yes, yes.
because you're saying they took too long
It-
to do your permit.
because
Well, I'm saying
I
your guy probably screwed it up.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's not their fault. And a normal contractor should have been able to get through with maybe a couple of comments, but not 6 months of corrections. What's the village say?
We're not opposed to reduction. Our amount would be $1,237.68 within 30 days, which would be by December 8th.
Okay, so I'll reduce the amount of the fine to $1,237.68 payable by December 28th. If it's not paid by December 28th, it's the 28th, right?
8th. Just 8th.
December 8th.
Thank you.
If it's not paid by December 8th, it goes back to the 2,175. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Next case is 17-1959, 501, 543, and 573 to 579 out parcel North State Road 7, 511 SR7 owner LLC, Royal Center LLC.
Ooh, 5 years. This should be a hefty amount.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, fine mitigation request. Exhibit 2, the order assessing fine. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, the affidavit of compliance. The fine mitigation request does include an owner authorization, and then, corporate papers to show that the person who gave authorization is that person.
This one I don't need.
You submitted this
I did it.
to my office. Do you have a copy, or you want me to submit this on? No, I have this. Submit it on your
Okay.
behalf. Yeah.
Motion to mitigate. Ooh, someone wrote it down. All right, let me see what I'm looking through. Blizzard John. I have Blizzard John.
I think it's the same thing.
It is, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, this came to.
All right, sir, please identify yourself and tell us why the fine should be reduced.
Good evening, Your Honor. My name is Glenn Whittam. I represent the respondent, Royal Setter LLC, and its predecessor, or as predecessor for 511 SR7 Owner LLC. I'm here tonight with representatives of my clients, which is Rigoberto Ruiz and Tiffany Gonzalez. And I don't know what Your Honor was reviewing. Did you have an opportunity, or were you reviewing the fine mitigation?
Oh, yeah, the whole
motion?
packet here, yeah.
Thank you.
And Mr.
So I
Whittam,
won't-
just before you continue, let me just clarify that he has the right fine amount just before you proceed, so that he's understanding, because I know your document says one thing, but the total fine amount is $149,025. I just want him to have that, but go ahead, sir. Sorry for the interruption.
No,
All right,
no.
so it's not 145, it's 149,025. Gotcha.
And thank you for taking the time to hear us tonight. As you can tell, and I won't repeat everything that's in the papers, but I think what's really important to point out is that this is not a circumstance. I understand from your initial comments that this did cover a period of time, but there is a reasonable circumstances and a reasonable explanation for that, which we believe the owner should not be penalized for. Under this, what happened here is that we received an original violation, and I think it's really important to look at the violation itself, which is attached to the motion as Exhibit A. That violation says that vegetation not maintained to healthy growing condition, dead, dying, missing landscape, and it marks Code Section 15141. 15141 is a maintenance provision. It requires that maintenance be done on landscaping. It's a landscaping maintenance provision. And that code provision requires that the county or the village provide owners with a reasonable time to address unhealthy landscaping. That is what my clients, the owners, understood this was about. And when you read the corrective action that's in the violation, it says at the end, because all of the other descriptions and code violations were all remedied right at the start. This hearing tonight is not with respect to any of those other matters that were all cleared and addressed immediately by the owner. The only issue that we believe, that the only issue that remained outstanding for tonight is the issue of the replacement of dead vegetation. And what the village put in their notice is obtain a vegetation removal permit, which is undisputed we did, and remove unhealthy vegetation and replace the landscape plan. Remove unhealthy vegetation and replace that unhealthy vegetation. So that's what we did. The owner, as you can see by Exhibit B, the owner in the months following this was issued the last day of 2017, last day or two of 2017. I'll note that I believe it's misdated 12/18/2018. I believe that was 12/18/2017, but maybe they issued this a year later. I don't know, but this relates to a 2017 case. So that's my presumption. But this relates to in 2018, my clients, as you can see in Exhibit B, incurred $21,000 of expense through landscapers to address this unhealthy vegetation. They removed the dead vegetation and replaced it. And they called for inspections, and they couldn't get them approved. And we tried to we kept asking the village to help us to identify the things that needed to be removed, and we could not get answers. It kept getting delayed. We have, and I'm prepared to put into evidence, a pile of invoices. My clients, that's one copy. We have a pile of invoices between 2018 and 2023 because what ultimately happened, Your Honor, is that the violation that asked for the replacement of unhealthy vegetation morphed and was expanded into a conformance of the shopping center to the entire and original landscape plan. And what happened was we called, and I would ask, what I brought is Exhibit C is real. That's sort of the point in time that I would call the defining moment of confusion. If you look at Exhibit C is an email from the village. And that's the point. You can see in Exhibit C, and I think it says, and it's highlighted, they, meaning the owner, will need to have all, and all is underlined, of the landscaping in a healthy growing condition, free from weeds and mulch placed according to the plan. So was it all the landscaping of the shopping center? Was it all of the dead landscaping? It was unclear. And we tried to address that with the village. And if I may approach, I have multiple copies for them. I think what's really important, and I think it's really the crux of our position tonight, is to look at the email exchanges that occurred.
Is this, do you want that? That's our, oh, that's you. Okay.
I've marked here, this is the, here I've turned the page, if I may approach.
Sure.
Turn the page, you can see, that's the August 19th email. But what I think is really important, and we're asking you to consider, is to go forward in time from that moment. Because that's where, this is, look what happens. August of 2019, the village says the entire property, can be construed as unhealthy vegetation or all of the vegetation. And what happens? The Fresh Start Maintenance is the landscape company that the owner hired. They email the village and they say, I would really appreciate if yourself or a designated code officer familiar with the violations associated with this specific, or let me start over. I have spoken with IMC Equity Group, that's the management company for the owner, and reviewed some of the plans. Some sections are unclear to me. I would really appreciate if yourself or a designated code officer familiar with the violations associated with this specific property would meet on site to review everything so we can get to the root of what exactly needs to be done, period. I am very willing to work with the code department to get this done correctly and swiftly. That's October 31st. What comes next? November 14th. It's been a few weeks. The owner's landscaper reaches out to the village again. It's been a few weeks and I haven't heard back. Would it be possible to meet with you or any of your code personnel on site so we can get a clear, quote, in person, end quote, understanding of what is exactly wrong and the steps, the proper correction, the understanding of what is exactly wrong and the steps for proper correction so we may bring the property into compliance. Your Honor, the owner repeatedly tried to bring this property into compliance, get the help of the city, of the village, because of the confusion between what the violation said and what their email said to bring this property into compliance. Again, their response, the village response, the landscape on site must meet the plan. They write again, November 14th. In regards to the on-site, I'm a new contractor for the property and have been working diligently to try to rectify the code problem. It would appear we've exhausted our efforts to meet with you on site, with you or anyone from code to rectify this violation. I used to be a code officer for the city of Lake Worth, and no matter how frustrated I personally was regarding a property, if a new contractor requested my presence, I was obligated as a public servant to extend my time to help them rectify a code issue. No one wants to be in violation, but I am here trying to fix this, and just because you have an unpleasant dealings with the previous contractors, it should not reflect poor cooperation towards my company. Your Honor, I want to make clear, we are not pointing the finger at the village. We are not, everybody's busy. Everybody has a lot of, you can tell by all of the people we've seen come here tonight, they're very busy and probably overworked. But what my position is, and the owner's position is we shouldn't be penalized for that. We got a permit, a vegetation removal permit. We got a violation that said replace unhealthy vegetation. We spent tens of thousands of dollars, ultimately $250,000 between April of 2018 and 2023 to bring this property until we could get it into compliance. Candidly, in 2023, we actually even had the landscape architect that the village directed us to. That's Kotler, the Kotler Hearing Company. They came out and this is the village's architect, landscape architect. He came out and approved it all. The village wouldn't sign off. They still wanted to come out they still wanted to have final say. They finally came out, and within 3 weeks of the time that the code officer came out and finally showed us exactly what needed to be done, it was done. This is an example of, and this is an example of just a confusing situation. What exactly needed to be done? This wasn't. All of the other violations were resolved. This isn't like we did things without a permit. We left things trash on the property, or it was an eyesore. This had to do with having to replace our irrigation system. The $250,000 is not just plants. That's not just plants. But to replace all the plants they wanted and to keep them alive, we had to redo the irrigation system. We had to do all types of things over a course of these years to get this done, and that was through COVID and everything else. Why is that? So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that our position is that there was a confusion here. There was a confusion and an inability, and we believe it could have been handled differently, but it wasn't. We stand here today in November of 2023. The village has already provided you with the papers showing it was completed. I can put into evidence the exhibits of all of the
we don't need
of all these things. I think it's attached as the summary is attached as exhibit
Summary's attached, it is fine.
D to our motion. We've put in a fortune, and on top of this, of the fortune that we've already put in, we don't believe we should be piled on and be penalized because of what could have been a reasonable confusion on our part as to what actually had to be repaired.
Okay. So
and
what
I
is,
think
what
this
is, what
also
is
shows
your
that
what
we
is
were
your
diligent.
what is your primary practice areas?
I'm sorry?
What are your primary practice areas?
Mine
Yours.
is real estate litigation.
Real estate litigation.
I don't do these hearings very often,
Yeah,
as you can tell.
Well, I'm just trying to think because there's a set of guys out there who does site planning, site work, getting these things done. It's kind of normal for you to get a site plan approved. You probably have to go to some sort of development review committee. They put conditions on there. You have to submit landscaping plans. They have to be approved by somebody else's committee. And all these things are normal, right?
Right, but that's not what the violation
And I'm looking at the violation notice, and it says, remove unhealthy vegetation and replace to landscape plan.
And they gave us a permanent vegetation.
And the landscape plan is a public document that is recorded or at least maintained by the village as part of their development.
They're not
approvals.
recorded, but they're on file with the village. Correct?
That's what I said. They're not recorded, but they're on file with the village, and you can pull the landscape plan and see the canopies of the trees, and they're all pretty and green, and the hedges and all these other things, and there are little blocks that say this amount and those size pots and all that other stuff. So yeah, there's a landscape plan that needs to be followed, and some people tend to ignore it. Some people don't like keeping the things up on it. And your greatest argument right now is you spent $250,000 to fix this stuff, which is what the village wanted. So what is the village's position with regard to this?
So I'll say, as I say to you at every one of these fine mitigation hearings, the village is not here tonight to relitigate the merits of the case. I would like to have Supervisor Walker just respond to a few things regarding the consistency of the communication and the efforts on the part of the village to make sure that there was a very clear communication about what was done on the site to ensure compliance.
Yes. So there was a point in time that I told another new landscaper that I was no longer going to meet them out there and physically walk the site. I had walked the site with, I believe, Rigo's assistant. I had walked the site with multiple landscapers and literally pointed out everything that needed to be done, just as I did the very last time, the things that were missing and that needed to be replaced, or things that were dead and things that needed to be fixed. At that time, when I first met the I believe it was your assistant or a representative from your company out there, there was pallets and carts stored behind the building. A dumpster wasn't in the foreclosure, or wasn't in the enclosure, and there was also a camper that someone was living in behind the building. So the camper was removed, but when it did go to hearing, the carts and pallets were still in the back and the dumpster still was not in the enclosure. And that was actually part of the fine. It did come into compliance, but our compliance is all or nothing. So I did just want to address that.
Kind of figured. So with that being addressed, what is the village's position? with
And
regard
so
to
I just want to point out too, with all due respect to Mr. Whittam, the notice of violation, as you read parts of it and he read all of it, the emails consistently say the same thing: replaced to the approved landscape plan. So I will agree respectfully that there was confusion, but it wasn't on the part of the village. It was on the part of the folks who were trying to get the landscape up to the approved landscape plan. So the village is here tonight. We're not opposed to reduction, but you see the timeline. Your previous order required compliance well before it required compliance in 2018. Compliance was not achieved till 5 years later. So I can give you our number. I didn't hear a number from Mr. Whittam. I know he has 5,000 in his
He has
motion.
5,000 in his motion, so that's his number.
Our number would be $32,601.60 payable within 30 days.
Your Honor, if I can respond.
You go right ahead.
If I can respond briefly, two things. One is that I'm not trying to mince words or to misphrase or characterize the violation. That's why I attached it as Exhibit A to our motion, because it's very clear. It says, it doesn't say get a landscape plan permit. It doesn't say it says get a vegetation removal permit and remove the unhealthy vegetation. And so that's what we did. That's what we tried to do. When you ultimately look at, and that's what's in here, when you ultimately look, and I can show you the plans that were at the end, that ultimately where they circle all the whole plan, and they circle all the entire property had to be re-landscaped and to be not unhealthy plants, all plants, colors, change it. They changed color. They didn't like the one color flower. They want the different color flower. That's not unhealthy. That's the difference between what happened here. We can have reasonable minds can differ, but all we're saying is, and I think you made it the appropriate point. The most important thing that we have on our side is, one, we have that clearly in 2019 and before that, by the money we paid, we tried to get this done. That's number one. Number two, what we have is we've spent $250,000 on this property to try to comply, and I believe that's what's important, because we should not be penalized on top of that for whatever confusion exists.
And how, and okay, go ahead. You wanted, what's your name first,
He
for
needs
the
to be at the
record? You
mic.
need to get up here to the microphone.
I'm the new property manager, and I've kind of helped along with getting everything in compliance this year. But I will say, I was provided 2 sets of plans that were different, and I had to figure out which ones were the current plans. So that there has been a lot of confusion along the way with this.
Well, see, any good site manager person would just go through the village's file and find the last approved plan. I mean, I'm an eminent domain guy. So, you know, I do road widenings and school takings and all this stuff, and it leads me to go into everyone's files so I can pull what's required and find out what I have to do to get it put back to make my sites work. And I have to go and get modified landscaping plans and all these other things. And these are not things that are not known to people who know these things.
They also did a modified landscape plan, because the plans that are current with the town, the plants that are there on the plans aren't necessarily going to thrive. There's a lot of plants that require lots of sun in the shade. So
that's fine, but
well, what I'm saying is
stop, please.
Sure.
What I'm trying to tell you is your client or your client's predecessor in interest is the one who put forward the landscaping plan, and if they put the wrong kind of plants in the wrong places, it's not the village's fault. Your client then got a modification of the landscaping plan, which is fine, and then everything should have been taken care of. cognizant of what you've spent to do this. It's very expensive. What site was this? This was, what property? Is this
What's the main
This
business?
is, it's the Commons, Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm thinking of the right place.
The old Starwood Wasserman.
Yeah, well, Five Below and PetSmart and all those other guys. I know that.
And Your Honor, all that, what you said is true, and all those plans can be secured when you have a violation that to conform a property to a landscape plan. But that's not what this notice of violation says.
I'm not going to take that technical argument and say it doesn't require replacement to the landscaping plan, because God only knows that if you have an approved landscaping plan and you want to change your trees out, you get to go modify the plan.
Well, but no one's saying that we modified the plan. Everything we put in, I don't want to be argumentative. All I'm trying to say is that this says to replace, to get a removal and permit and to replace unhealthy vegetation. We don't, and that's what we did. We don't disagree with what you're saying.
And what did
That's
you
all.
think
that
had-
could have been a different violation.
What did you think the corrective action was for the missing landscape?
Just to remove it?
No, to remove it and replace.
No, the missing landscape, you don't need to remove, it's missing. So what do you do with that? You have to restore it to the landscape plan. That's why it's unhealthy, dead, dying, and missing.
Yeah, I'm gonna add something really quick. And again, we're not trying
Now
to keep.
stop your name first, please.
Yeah, my name is Rigoberto Ruiz. The issue was that we were filling in whatever was missing, dead, dying, or deceased. We even have an inspection from the city back in 2019 that the only comments made on that inspection were that there was some weeds on the beds and that the property needed to be mulched, not only where the new plants were put in, but the entire bed. We then went back, we redid that. The follow-up conversations from that basically said, well, we're not just looking at the unhealthy material. It's you have incorrect material on some of these islands, and these have to match the landscape plan. So
that's the point, though. If you want to make it different and
But we
replace
didn't.
the types of plants, I don't know if you did it or your predecessor did
No,
it,
yeah.
but whoever did it needed to change the landscaping plan. You just don't ignore it.
We didn't ignore it,
You
but it
can't
wasn't.
you can't change it and say, oh, I wanted to change this, and I need to change this out. You could put it right back to where it was and let it be healthy, dying stuff.
No, but
Healthy dying
whatever,
stuff.
if material was incorrectly placed at one point, it wasn't included in the violations, what we're saying. But we did it anyways. We spent all that money to even add the extra things to the violation.
He gets it. Thank you.
So, and also, so you're mixing up two different things, and I explained this multiple times as well. So when you do a vegetation removal permit, that is being inspected by, at one point it was Kevin Irwin. You were dealing with Kevin Irwin and Bradford O'Brien, and they had failed the inspection because you guys put in undersized plants. It wasn't mulch. That was all part of the permit for the removal and replacement of what you got the permit to remove. And then I go out and do an overall inspection. After all that's done and you've replaced to the plan to make sure that it's in compliance. So when you get the vegetation removal permit and there you call for that inspection, they should only be checking what was replaced on part of that permit. And then I come out and check the overall site for everything else for the violation. The landscape inspector doesn't have control of the code enforcement violation.
Yeah, and that's what was explained to us on our most recent visit. There was confusion because of Cutler hearing.
I'm sorry, can you go to the podium? So there's a recorded.
Cutler hearing came out and essentially said, okay, everything's in compliance. Although these plants aren't 18 inches, you filled it up. It's in compliance, and he issued a letter to you. You came out and you said it wasn't. You explained to us exactly what you said,
Right.
and then we addressed it.
But there was a vegetation removal. There were actually 2 vegetation removal permits pulled for the site. I don't know if you know that or not. But the one, Kevin Irwin had gone out and inspected, and that's been many, many years ago. And it failed because of the undersized planting and no mulch and that kind of stuff. And at that point, I know that I had communication with you that once that passed inspection, then I would have to go out and, re-inspect the overall site.
Yes.
And that was back in like 2018, I want to say. It was a while ago. It was before you had the property.
Right.
It's, yeah, it's, yeah, the landscaping compliance letters dated 9/5/23. I mean, and George, I haven't seen George in forever. I used to use Coulter Herring for some of my eminent domain stuff. So, yeah, I mean,
And you know, sir,
the problem is, here I sit in between all of this, and you've had multiple people come through. She's had to deal with multiple people coming through and not fixing it. People who did try to fix it were putting in undersized things and they weren't mulching it. I get all of that. So
Well, one of the
you're at
reasons-
5,000, you're at 32,600, and I'll probably just drop it to, I don't know, let me find a number here. All right. I'm going to drop it to $27,500 by 12/8. Okay, that'll take her $32,000 number, reduce it by $5,000, sort of giving you some slack for what you've done, and that's where it is.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, have a nice evening, everybody.
You too.
You too.
All right, so you chased the guy out with the green shirt.
Yeah.
He chose to leave.
Well,
Okay, just
He
kidding.
was part of 177,
Okay.
so, but we're not hearing that.
Thank you. Can we take a 2-minute recess?
Sure.
Thank you.
Recess for 2 minutes. This was, oh, it's earlier. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, it's only 7 o'clock. I'm like,
All right, back.
number one.
Is he ready in the back?
Everyone's good.
Back to page 1, fine assessment hearing 23-0475, 12016, Greenway Circle South, number 102, Everton, Lug, and Mercy Scott.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, permit information.
Signed green card equals service. What would you like?
This one's been out of compliance for 13 days, so 325 and
25
continuing.
plus continuing is granted.
23-0478, 10114, Patience Lane, Angelica M. Rio Salvino and Ademir R. Marcelo Jurado.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, permit information.
Track and confirm equals service. What would you like?
Same thing, out of compliance for 13 days, 325 and continuing.
Granted.
23-0690, 121 Sevilla Avenue, 2018 2 IH borrower LP.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, pictures.
Okay. Affidavit of service equals service. What would you like?
Again, 13 days out of compliance, 325 and continuing.
Granted.
23-0762, 10404. It's supposed to be Oliver Lane, FKH SFRC1 LP.
It's Oliver Lane on mine.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure you had the correct name.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, pictures.
Signed green card equals service. Hey,
Same thing, out of compliance, 13 days, 325 and continuing.
I like the pictures. They're nice and bright. Like very orangey house. 325 plus continue is granted.
Thank you. 23-0504, 118 Meadowlark Drive, Renan Bouchard.
Keep waiting for Curly Neal and the
I'd like to
basketball
enter the
folk.
following documents into evidence. Order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification ownership, Exhibit 3, S400, permit information, Exhibit 4, affidavit compliance.
MHOFE, some sort of sign things on the green card, I guess, gives you service.
We're asking for an order assessing no fine.
No fine is easy, granted.
Thank you.
23-0523, 3107 Strang Lane, Farron E. and James C. Bickerstaff.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Previous order finding violation, affidavit of service, Exhibit 2, verification ownership, Exhibit 3, AS400 permit information, Exhibit 4, affidavit compliance.
Is this a fine or a finding of fact?
No, again, requesting an order assessing no fine.
No fine is granted.
Thank you. 23-0539, 288 La Mancha Avenue, Christopher and Deborah Adams.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification ownership, Exhibit 3, AS400 permit information, Exhibit 4, affidavit compliance.
Finding of fact is granted. Signed green card is service.
This one we're asking for an order
No
assessing
fine.
no fine.
No fine order is granted.
Thank you.
23-0976, 156 Cordoba Circle, Progress Residential Borrower 1 LLC.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification ownership, Exhibit 3, pictures.
Willie, my boy. I love Willie's stamp. It's like, I need to take him to lunch or something. All right, what would you like on this one?
Again, 13 days out of compliance, 325 and continuing.
325 plus continuing is granted.
Thank you. No service on it.
The repeat violation, 23-1090, is being pulled.
And S.
Violation hearings, 23-0604, 101 Royal Pine Circle East, Tammy Dusenberry.
Code section is 2317, parking on the front lawn,
Car.
parking over the sidewalk. This violation was observed on 5/31/23. It was sent certified mail 8/22/23. Was posted. Notice of hearing was mailed on 9/21/23. Was returned and posted. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, an affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing and affidavit of service. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures. And Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
And I play my truck car game and I win because it's a car and a truck. Both of them are
Oh,
parked
the
over.
address changed. It was mailed out previous to that.
Okay.
We're asking for a finding of fact.
Finding of fact is granted.
Thank you. 23-0634, 868 Lilac Drive, Luis Angel Ruiz.
Code section is 622-108.4, 6190A1. Work done without a permit, stucco door closed in, porch is stained. I observed this violation on 6/9/23. It was sent certified mail 6/12/23 and posted. Notice of hearing went out 9/1/23 and it was posted. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation and affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing and affidavit of service. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures.
All right, affidavit of service equals service. And what are we doing with lilac? Pictures are the stucco. Okay. What would you like?
Compliance by 12/28 or the January 10th fine assessment hearing, or a $25 a day fine.
1228, 110, 25 granted.
Thank you. 23-0643 is being pulled. 23-0729, 10303 Pippin Lane, Ibrahim Zeru Trust.
Code section is 1557. The description is grass and weeds exceed the height allowed. This violation was written on 7/17/23. It was sent certified mail 7/18/23, returned, unclaimed, and posted. Notice of hearing was mailed on 9/19/23, and it was signed for on 10/2/23. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures.
Okay, someone needs a weed eater.
This
All right,
one,
you have service via posting. What would you like?
thank you, compliance by November 30th or the 12/13 fine hearing or $25 day fine.
Granted.
23-0793, 1124 Grandview Circle, Juliet R. and Hector L. and Stacy C. Cologne.
The code section is 1557, 6190D, 15132. Grass and weeds exceed height allowed, and planting areas are overgrown. This violation was observed on 8/8/23. It was sent certified mail 8/10/23 and signed for on 8/15/23. Notice of hearing was mailed on 9/11/23. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. And Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
Finding a fact.
Thank you.
Granted.
And just so that you know, she had actual service. She told her of the hearing on 10/25, according
Okay.
to her message.
23-0833, 103 Van Gogh Way, Ori Juan Cabreja.
Cabreja. Cabreja.
Code section is 6190A15. The description, sidewalk is stained. This violation was observed on 8/17/23 and written on, sent certified mail 8/18/23. Was signed for on 8/23/23, and notice of hearing was mailed on 9/3/23 and signed for on 9/13/23. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures.
So they cleaned the driveway, but they didn't clean the sidewalk.
That's correct.
That's different. What would you like?
Compliance by 12/28 or the 110 fine hearing or $25 day fine.
Granted.
23-0841, 1412 Thornbank Lane, FKH SFR Propco B Holder LP.
Code section 124C, garbage can in public view. This violation was written on 8/17/23. It was sent certified mail 8/18/23 and signed for on 8/28/23. Notice of hearing was mailed on 9/15/23 and it was signed for on 9/20/23. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures.
So you have a signed green card that equals service. You had a picture in 9, which is September, which had it up against the side of the house. So what'd they do? They put it up in front of the garage to make it even more obvious. All right. How much time are you gonna give these
Compliance by 11/30 or the 12/13 fine hearing or $25 day fine.
people? Yeah, and you've got to tell they're running out of names because they don't want these things to spread to their other properties. So they're just adding all sorts of stuff to their name to make it different.
23-0845, 1370 Thornbank Lane, Raymond Joseph and Fancilis Vernelis.
Code section 1571, 15-141, 9/8, and 14-2. Tree was hat racked, hedges are over 4 feet, and miscellaneous items stored on the property. This violation was written on 8/18/23 and sent certified mail the same day. It was signed for on 8/24/23. Notice of hearing was mailed on 9/11/23 and it was signed for on 9/14/23. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures.
Multiple signed green cards equals service. What would you like?
Compliance by 12/28, compliance by 12/28, the 110 fine hearing or $25 day fine.
Okay. Can they get an arborist report on this one?
They did not, but they do need it.
They can though. That's just they can get one if they try.
They can request one, whether
Yeah,
it's
that's
going to
okay.
say what
That's all. I'm
complies
just-
them is
just
that
making
difference.
sure that
And
they
I
have-
spoke to her in the office today.
Good.
She
just so-
wasn't able to make it.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm just trying to make sure what I know still exists. So yeah, they can try to fix it.
Yes. 23-0904 is being pulled. 23-0909 is being pulled.
Oh, you're on a roll. Keep going.
23-0911, 124 Cypress Crescent, Ann M. and Joshua L. Rhodes.
Code section 622-105.5, permit number 222911 is expired. This violation was observed on, or written on 9/1/23 and sent certified mail the same day. was signed for on 9/8/23. Notice of hearing was mailed on 9/15/23, and the green card was returned. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, permit information.
Okay. Signed green cards all over the place.
This one, we're asking for compliance by, again, 12/28, or the 110 fine hearing, or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
23-0928-2232 Ridgewood Circle, Tao, maybe, and Trang Lei.
Vietnamese.
Code section is 622-105.5. Permit number 223018 is expired. This violation was written on 9/1/23, sent certified mail 9/1/23, and returned on 9/13/23. Notice of hearing went out 9/23/23 and signed for on 9/27/23. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, permit information. And Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
Okay. You have signed green card. Well, the first one wasn't really signed, but the second one was. So you have service finding fact.
Yes, sir.
Granted.
Thank you. 23-0959118824 Oleander Drive, Julio A. Mesa Castellano.
Code section is 2318B3B and 144A, parking on the front lawn and disabled vehicle and no tag. This violation was written on, or sent certified mail 9/3/23, and it was signed for on 9/8/23. Notice of hearing was mailed on 9/21/23 and signed for on 9/26/23. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. And Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
They let the untagged car sit on the skinny little driveway. Finding of fact is granted.
Thank you. 23-0973-885 Azalea Drive, SWH 2017, 1 borrower LP.
Code section 2318, parking on the rear yard. This violation was written on 9/8/23. It was sent certified mail 9/9/23 and signed for on 9/12/23. Notice of hearing was mailed 9/23/23 and signed for on 9/26/23. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
You're on a roll. Finding of fact is granted. You've had service via green cards.
Thank you. 23-0563 103 Prado Street, Stephen and Tanisha Spencer.
It's an interesting eclectic group. Tarpon of disabled.
Code section 06190I and 14.4, tarp on roof, disabled vehicle. Observe this violation on 5/16/23. Sent out notice violation certified mail on 5/20/23. Posted it to the property. Sent out notice of hearing on 9/3/23. I received that on 9/15/23. Like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures.
Oh, they make tarps a lot prettier these days.
Yeah.
No, they do. It used to be like this blue thing on the top. Now they sort of like seal it all in. It almost looks like a roof.
There's some of them too.
What would you like?
Compliance by 12/28, or the 110 fine hearing, or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
23-0719 152 Vizcaya Avenue, Juan Bustamante, Ruth M. and Audrey Cabrera.
Code sections 14.4, disabled vehicle. I observed this violation on 7/14/23. Sent out notice of violation. Certified mail on 7/15/23. Posted it to the property. Sent out notice of hearing. Certified mail on 9/9/23, and it was delivered on 9/15/23. I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures.
Well, they aired up the tire and they turned it around to hide the tag.
Yeah, but it doesn't have a tag, and if you see in the picture where it's turned around, there's actually a rope wrapped around the tire, so I really don't think it's drivable.
Well, I think the rope's wrapped around the top just to keep it from flying off as
It's
they
through
turn it
that
around.
tire.
Oh, it's through the tire?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes it very difficult, unless they're winding the rope up that way. Okay, what do you want?
Compliance by 12/28, or 110 fine hearing, or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
Thank you.
23-0749 2201 Artera Court, Iris and Kemlyn Dorval.
Code sections 2657, play structure without a permit. Observe this violation on 7/20/23. Sent out notice violation, certified mail 7/21/23. It was delivered on 7/26/23. Sent out notice of hearing, certified mail on 9/27/23. It was delivered on 9/30/23. Like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. I believe that has a UPS tracking on there. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, AS400 permit information. Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
So I actually called a city manager to say, I'm putting up a plaything in my backyard, what should I do? And they said, just put it up. And then I said, hold on, I know Trela. Trela White was the city attorney. Let me call Trela. Trela said, permit at that thing, Doug, it's big. So I did.
Finding of fact, please, sir.
Granted.
Thank you. 22-0773, 100 Moorgate Circle, Ernest St. Ange.
Code sections 942, fence and disrepair. I observed this violation on 8/2/23. Sent out notice of violation, certified mail on 8/5/2023, and it returned on 8/21/23. Sent out notice of hearing, certified mail on 9/23/23. It's signed for on 9/27/23. Like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures.
I drive there once a week to go to the gym at the cultural or at the rec center, and there's like a contest on that road to see who can have the worst, ugliest
The worst
fence.
fence, yeah. I'm
There's like
concerned
2 or
with
3
this.
together with worst, ugliest fences. You have green card service, what would you like?
Compliance by November 30th or the 12/13 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
Thank you.
23-0788 is being pulled.
Gotcha. Okay.
23-0802, 10633 Fascination Lane, Uni T. Garcia and Mino Maivy Rosa.
Code sections 9-1, 14-2, 12-4C. Installed a new fence without a permit, miscellaneous items, garbage can in public view. Observe this violation on 8/15/23. Sound now notice of violation, certified mail on 8/16/23. It was delivered on 8/24/23. Sound now notice of hearing, certified mail on 9/19/23, and that was delivered on, 9/25/23. I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, AS400 permit information. Exhibit 6, affidavit of compliance.
Ugly fence. Whoever thought that was attractive needs to be checked out. All right, finding of fact is granted.
Thank you. 23-0868, 172 Martin Circle, Cleonica A. and Juan D. Reyes.
Code section 2317 and 06190A1, parking on and over the sidewalk, structure is stained. Observe this violation on 8/23/23. Send out notice of violation, certified mail on 8/24/23. It was signed for on 9/5/23. Send out notice of hearing, certified mail on 9/29/23. USPS tracking order, the green card's in there from 10/3/23. Like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
Well, not quite in the right order for me, but I figured my way through it, so finding of fact is granted.
Thank you.
23-0872, 204 Martin Circle, Progress Residential Borrower 5 LLC.
Code sections 2317 and 2318B2, parking on and over the sidewalk, restricted trailer parking on driveway and on front lawn. I observed this violation on 8/23/23. Sent out notice of violation, certified mail on 8/24/23. It was signed for on 9/6/23. Sent out notice of hearing, certified mail on 9/27/23. It was delivered on 10/2/23. Like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
Finding of fact is granted.
Thank you.
It was too easy to guess when you did the trailer thing. It made it obviously a truck.
Took all the fun right out of it.
I was like, car truck. I'm like doing good right now.
23-0885, 1312 Lakeview Drive, Trails at Royal Palm Beach, Inc.
Code section 622, 108.4, work done without a permit. Observed this violation on 8/30/23. Sent out notice of violation, certified mail on 9/1/23. They received it on 9/7/23, sent out notice of hearing, certified mail on 8/21/23, and got that back as well. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, AS400 permit information.
All right, you have returned green cards, so I guess their service, and
Yeah.
This one we're asking for compliance by 12/28 or the 110 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
kind of reminds me of North Palm Beach. You can't do anything in a condo there without someone ratting you out. They
The
live
owner
for
of the unit.
it. They live for it. It's like, oh, I see contractors. I'm calling. It's the funniest thing ever. You don't even have to find a water heater outside.
23
They're like, they're in the kitchen. I saw it.
23-0891-158 Catania Way, Martha Bolito.
Code section 622-108.4. Installed a patio roof and electric without a permit. I observed this violation on 8/31/23. Sent out notice of violation, certified mail on 9/1/23. It was signed for on 9/9/23. Sent out notice of hearing, certified mail on 10/12/23. It was delivered on 10/14/23. Like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, AS400 permit information.
It doesn't look horrible. Probably could use a permit. It looks like it'd be a wind-blown sail in a storm.
Could use a permit.
It just
This
seems-
one we're asking again for compliance by 12/28 or the 110 fine